Okay, Amber, you gonna say hi to everybody? I'll let you say hi to everybody. Hey. Alright. Yeah. I'll let everybody know you're there. And we're gonna need an audio check when you get a chance, guys. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah. Say hi. Yep. Alright. Yeah. Alright, let me get seated here. Okay. Alright. There you go. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the Murtathon for Friday. Alright, Amber, you go do your thing. And how we all doing tonight? Great. We're off to a decent start for once. Alright, tonight we are going to talk about Destiny and our prelude to it. Field McConnell is coming to Florida. That was official. And we're going to go through the paperwork here. As soon as I get it queued up. Okay, we pull me off camera. Alright. Now, all we're going to do is I'm going to go through more or less itemized of everything that was put before the court on this complaint. Now, Field McConnell had made 4 points that he put forward to the court, and the court basically said, nope, you're coming to Florida. And that's tough tooties, as they say. Now this camera still isn't perfect, so bear with me tonight. I'm eventually... Gripper, I did see the Facebook post, and he is wrong. Field McConnell is not going to get pardoned or anything like that. He is coming to Florida. People have to understand that what you see in court records, like the way that Pierce County does it, is stuff that is sent by Field McConnell out. It's not necessarily a true statement. It's just kind of like he wishes what would happen. There was a statement sent out that a lawsuit was going to be brought against Florida and Wisconsin for false imprisonment. There's this thing that's going on with filing by Dr. Good Vibes on the pardoned or annulment of sentence or whatever the hell they're doing, and there's other things, but that's not going to amount to a hill of beans. He is coming to Florida whether he likes it or not. You can't just go and tell the court, hey, I want out, let me out, which is essentially what he was doing. The court said, nope, you're not getting out. This is what's going to happen. And so, he filed paperwork with the court. The court said nope. And that's end of story on that. And of course, we start off with the heading. This is Circuit Court, court order, case number in the top right, so on and so forth. And then we move on to the first part of the complaint. And basically it said that a hearing was held on February 12, 2020 on the request of or application for a writ of habeas corpus filed by the defendant, Field McConnell. David Olson, Assistant Pierce County District Attorney, appeared for the state. Mr. McConnell appeared in person without counsel. Upon receipt of the document from Mr. McConnell, which the court has accepted as an application for a writ of habeas corpus, the court issued an order identifying the issues to be addressed in the hearing. Now, this is something that's ordinarily not done but they decided to give Field a little bit of help. The order identified 4 questions that the court may inquire into at the habeas corpus review. Prior to the hearing, Mr. McConnell filed the written position and arguments as to why the court should grant the relief he requests. Mr. McConnell added clarifying comments at the hearing on February 12th. Mr. Olson stated the state's position on the 4 questions on the record at the hearing. Now, yeah, the sovereign route that Field McConnell took did no good. As a matter of fact, it made his situation a hell of a lot worse. Now, based on consideration of the extradition documents on file, the information and arguments submitted by the parties, the court makes the decisions set forth herein. Decision 1. The first question the court must address is whether the extradition papers are in order and are properly authenticated. Now, for some reason, okay, let me go over here and bring this up. Yep, there we go. You're going to have to bear with me. I'm doing a rather complicated process of doing these transitions. With respect to this question, Mr. McConnell argues that the extradition papers are not in order because the affidavit to arrest him, as well as many other documents listed related to his arrest in Wisconsin, to the charges in Florida, and to the extradition process in Wisconsin, identify him as, quote, Field McConnell, or, quote, Field McConnell, in a combination of all caps and one lower cap. Mr. McConnell claims that these names are mutually exclusive. Mr. McConnell also argues that the request to return him to Florida is not legitimate because he had not been in Florida since 1959, when, as a 4th grader, he and his family moved out of Florida. Mr. McConnell argues that the language in the extradition documents that request he be returned to Florida is not accurate, renders the proceedings invalid and unconstitutional because Florida Governor DeSantis refers to him as Field McConnell, again, all caps with a lowercase first C, and Wisconsin Governor Evers refers to him as Field McConnell in a combination of lower and high case. The warrant is a false warrant created in Florida, and it is therefore improper and illegal to arrest him on the warrant. And okay, let me change this. Now, basically, he's saying that because of all these typos, and the fact that in some cases he's referred to in a combination of lower and high caps and so forth, that this is invalid. And the custody is unlawful. He's saying that he shouldn't be in custody. In summary, it appears that Mr. McConnell takes the position that he was falsely identified. The warrant is a false warrant. The warrant was improperly served, and the extradition documents were not properly authenticated. Now, let me adjust this a little bit. The grant of extradition by Wisconsin Governor Evers is prima facie evidence that the constitutional and statutory requirements for extradition have been met. See Michigan versus Doran, 99 SCT 530, parentheses 1978, and State versus Stone, 111 Wisconsin 2D 470, parentheses 1983. The Wisconsin extradition documents also contain a letter from Assistant Attorney General Christine A. Remington from the State of Wisconsin Department of Justice, which shows that she reviewed the requisition documents. These documents showed that Mr. McConnell had been charged in Florida with the crime of aggravated stalking. She reviewed the criminal information, the Habeas, the finding of probable cause, the identification of Mr. McConnell, and supporting papers. Ms. Remington also reviewed the requisition of Florida Governor DeSantis for the rendition of Field McConnell. Ms. Remington concluded that the requisition and accompanying documents were in compliance with Wisconsin law. So that takes care of question number 1. I'm following if I'm seeing this right, this is automatically changing. That's what I'm trying to determine here. I may have fixed a problem that I had with this, but just in case, I'm going to transition it. Yes, it's working. Good. I finally got this problem figured out. This way I don't have to keep making slides. Okay, Mr. McConnell's arguments at the representation of his name, spelled at times in all capital letters and other times with only his first and last names and the second C in McConnell capitalized, somehow make the extradition documents defective, is unpersuasive and without merit. This argument has no basis in law or fact. There is no doubt that the person charged with the crime of stalking is the same person that was in court at this hearing. He is Field McConnell, whether or not his name is capitalized. Mr. McConnell's argument that he was falsely identified, that the warrant was a false warrant, that it was improperly served, and that the extradition documents were not properly authenticated is not supported by any evidence or law. The court finds that the extradition papers are in order and properly authenticated. So question 1 got shot down. So now we move to question 2. The second question the court must address is whether the crime charged in Florida was properly charged under Florida law. Mr. McConnell argues that he was not in Florida, therefore he did not flee Florida, and that the purported victim, Kim Pacazio, was stalking him, and that she was the perpetrator and not him. The court is not permitted to consider the guilt or innocence of Mr. McConnell. See 976.03 parentheses 20 Wisconsin statutes. Mr. McConnell's argument on this question is essentially because he did not commit the crime charged. It is not properly charged under Florida law. The court is permitted to take judicial notice of the statutes of the demanding state. Florida. Florida statute section 784.048 parentheses 4 reads, a person who, after an injunction for protection against repeat violence, sexual violence, or dating violence pursuant to 784.046, or an injunction for protection against domestic violence pursuant to S. 741.30 or after any other court-imposed prohibition of conduct towards the subject person or that person's property, knowingly, willfully, maliciously, and repeatedly follows, harasses, or cyberstalks another person, commits the offense of aggravating stalking, a felony of the third degree, and is punishable as provided in Section 775.082 or Section 775.083 or Section 775.084. And we move on. The affidavit for the arrest of Mr. McConnell sets forth sufficient facts to support the charge. Therefore, the crime of aggravated stalking was properly charged under Florida law. The third question addressed by the court is whether Mr. McConnell is the person named in the extradition papers. Excuse me. In his submission, McConnell states, I, Field McConnell, am not any of the persons named in the extradition papers. Mr. McConnell's statement is not supported by the evidence and is without merit. The photograph of Mr. McConnell, which is included in the extradition documents, establishes his identity as the person charged in the crime of aggravated stalking in Florida and the person seated in the courtroom at the defense table at the habeas corpus hearing. Further, Mr. McConnell's own statement that he is a victim establishes he is the person named. The court finds that Mr. McConnell is the person named in the extradition papers. I found that kind of a weird argument because Field McConnell is saying he's not himself, that he's somebody else. The fourth and final question to be considered by the court is whether Mr. McConnell is subject to the jurisdiction of the Florida court by virtue of 976.03% parentheses 6. It's either 5 or 6. I'm having a hard time reading this. By allegedly having committed a crime in Florida by an act done in Wisconsin. Section 976.03 Wisconsin statute reads, extradition of persons charged with having committed a crime in the demanding state by acts done in this or some other state. The governor of this state may also surrender, on demand of the executive authority of any other state, any person in this state charged in such other state as provided in subsection 3, with committing an act in this state or in a third state, intentionally resulting in a crime in the state whose executive authority is making the demand. And the provisions of this section, not otherwise inconsistent, shall apply to such cases, notwithstanding that the accused was not in that state at the time of the commission of the crime and is not fled therefrom. So basically it's saying it doesn't matter where you're at, you committed the damn crime and committed against a citizen of the state of Florida. So you're going to Florida. Mr. McConnell in his submission states, pursuant to section 976.03, Florida has never had jurisdiction over myself, Field McConnell the man. At no time in 2019 was I in Florida, therefore I have not fled therefrom. Mr. McConnell is charged in Florida based on acts he committed in Wisconsin while live streaming. The acts in Wisconsin resulted in the charge against Mr. McConnell of aggravating stalking. He was not in Florida when he was live streaming. However, his acts in Wisconsin are alleged to have committed a crime in Florida in the state of the alleged victim's location at the time of the defendant's alleged criminal act. Therefore, in respect of the extradition process, Mr. McConnell is subject to the jurisdiction of the Florida court by allegedly committing a crime in Florida by an act done in Wisconsin. Under 976.036 parentheses 6, the fact that Mr. McConnell was not in Florida in 2019 and did not flee from Florida is irrelevant. Based on the decision set forth above, the court orders the writ of application for habeas corpus is denied and habeas corpus is quashed. Court jargon for thrown out. The defendant, Field McConnell, is remanded to the custody of the Pierce County Sheriff for relinquishment to the demanding state, Florida, under the governor's warrant, dated this 13th day of February 2020 by the court. And the Honorable Joseph D. Bowles, Circuit Court Judge, Pierce County, Wisconsin. So that basically puts to rest all four of Mr. McConnell's arguments. He lost, and he lost big. Now, all right, I'm trying to get my webcam back up, and I'm not having very good luck. Here we go. I stuck it too far out of the screen. Now there's a giant me in here. I gotta adjust everything. But this is, Field McConnell made basically every mistake he could possibly make. He signed his own fate, his own virtual death warrant, I guess you could call it. And so, where do we go from here? Well, what's going to happen now is the state of Florida and the state of Wisconsin are going to have a little bit of a huddle to figure out when and how Florida is going to come get Mr. McConnell and ship him off to Florida. Now, this is going to take a minimum of 3 or 4 days. Could take a couple of weeks. It could take more than that. There's no time limit for Florida to come get Field McConnell. He could sit up there for 6 months. But it's not going to be that long. It's probably going to be 2 or 3 weeks at the most. And Field McConnell will find himself in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Now, all the other actions that you've seen over on Facebook with Tim Holmseth and his little article and everything else is just a bunch of hooey, because none of it's going to make any difference. This document right here says it all, that Field McConnell is going to Florida. Any of this stuff that Tim Holmes has filed, or Dr. Good Vibes with the state of Wisconsin in the federal court doesn't mean a damn thing. Number one, any appeals to what happened here has to be done in the state of after all federal or all state proceedings in the state of Florida have taken place, and it is there that these appeals are done. It is not. You don't put the cart ahead of the horse. There's all kinds of things that have to be done in order. Mr. McConnell is going to have to go to the state of Florida and go through the trial process. He's not going to be able to short circuit it and find some way to stay in the state of Wisconsin. Just that ain't going to happen. And he might as well face up to that. So that's it in a nutshell on that one. Now, as I get set up, let me see what's... Alright, I'm going to switch things around a little bit. Or no, I'm going to leave things alone because I got this preset. So I have to look off to one side of the screen. Well, it's not a question of Florida wanting him so fast. It's the question of they have other things on their plate besides Mr. McConnell. They got to find room for him in the prison. They got to figure out how they're going to get him to Florida. And then they have to go get him. And they also have to arrange when it's going to be convenient for Pierce County to let him go. So there's a lot that has to be put in place. Now, we've discussed in the past on my videos, and I'm going to discuss again, how Mr. McConnell is going to get to Florida. Now, the first way would have been for a couple deputies to hop in a police SUV car, drive up to the state of Wisconsin, throw Mr. McConnell in the back seat with a couple bracelets on, and drive him back to Florida, making stops along the way. Option number 2 is to put him on an airplane, either a civilian commercial airliner with 2 deputies from Broward County to come up there and escort him back. Another option would be put him on Con Air, send him down that way. Or another option that I became aware of recently, and the most likely scenario, is he's going to be brought down by bus. And it's not going to be a Greyhound bus. It's going to be a contractor for the state of Florida and other states that transport prisoners. A private prisoner transport company. And if you look at the pictures I put up in my previous videos, you're going to notice those buses aren't that comfortable. Some are, some aren't. It depends on the brand of bus that the company owns. The company, I think, is going to be doing this uses converted school buses of all things. The larger models that are designed for interstate travel, or they're going to use what I call an MCI bus, which is this kind of buses you see for Greyhound. But they are not comfortable. They are bench seats. They have things on the floor where the prisoner is shackled. He just can't get up and walk around. He's basically restricted. So Mr. McConnell is not going to be very comfortable. He's going to have to endure not pleasant conditions. And it's estimated it's going to take him 3 days to get down here. The first day they'll pick him up. They may take him down a little ways. They'll run Mr. McConnell over to a county jail. He'll be thrown in the county jail. He'll sit there probably overnight. Another bus will come the next day and they'll pick him up, take him down. And somewhere along the way, he may stop in another jail. Spend the night in another jail, come out, he'll get in another bus, and he'll come the rest of the way to Florida. It's likely going to take him about 3 days. Anybody that's ever taken a Greyhound bus cross-country knows what a miserable experience it is. Because even the express buses, you just don't go from New York to Los Angeles. You go a day drive or so. The bus stops because by law the drivers can only drive so many hours a day, so you got to transfer drivers, you got to transfer buses, and the whole nine. And it's just a miserable way to travel. And he will not be coming by train. You know, they're not going to put him on Amtrak and bring him down. That's out of the question. It's going to be one of the other ways I mentioned before. So, and then when Field gets to Florida, he may not get booked right away. He might spend, if he gets here on a Friday, it might be Monday before he sees a judge. More commonly, what is done in these cases is you will see a judge within a day or two. Usually, sometimes it'll be done during the same day, 3 or 4 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours, maybe done the next day. Or, like I said, because of the weekend, it could be done. You get there on Friday, you go before a booking judge on Monday. It is around that time, when you make that initial appearance, that you are issued the warrant for your arrest. You're assigned a case number, you're given a mugshot, you're fingerprinted, all that stuff. Only then does the clock start. It's when you are assigned a case number and you get that warrant in your hand, that's when the 90-day clock starts. And the 90 days is for the start of the process. It's not that the process has to be completed. It's just that the process has to start within 90 days. So from that point forward, Field McConnell may find himself in jail another 90 days before the actual trial starts. Now, if anybody's been following the news lately, in Broward County, as we speak, 2 years to the day after the Parkland shooting, the shooter is still in trial. The process hasn't started yet. This is 2 years, and the guy lived in Florida. So this does not guarantee that Field McConnell's going to come to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, go before a judge and get this thing over with within a week or two. It could take him until he could be there another year. It's up to the court. So that, these people that are doing all this weird stuff in these various locations are in for a rude awakening. Field McConnell's not going anywhere except Florida. And he's going to be down here for a long, long time. Even if he's acquitted, he's down here for a long time. And another thing, while I'm rambling on here, and I'm sorry if I'm not looking at the chat right now. Say Field McConnell gets acquitted. What then? Well, now, at the time you're booked into this Broward County Jail, they take all your property. They take your money. They take anything you have on you. You got a wallet. You got a ring on your, all that stuff is taken. And you sign for it. Now, when you get out, if you're acquitted or for some reason you're cut loose, they say, okay, here's all your property, and here's the debit card. But you came in with cash. Where's my cash? We don't give you cash. That's what you signed for when you were booked. We take your money. We give you a debit card. Go to the nearest ATM. You get your money out, and you can find out how you're going to get back to Orlando or get back to Wisconsin. You're going to have to call up a friend or somebody, or else stick out your thumb and get your. Oh, by the way, don't do it in Fort Lauderdale. It's against a lot of hitchhiking in the state of Florida. But you're going to have to figure out how you're going to get back home. We don't do that for you. And remember now, if he posts bond, which is not likely because of Florida had requested no bond, that came out of Florida. That didn't come out of Wisconsin. He may not get bond. But if he does, two things have to happen. First of all, they're going to set the amount of bond. Say he gets hit with $100,000 bond, which is normal in a case like that. That means he has to come up with $10,000 cash for the bondsman. Because it's either 10 or 20%. If he has to come up with 20%, that's $20,000 cash. And then he has to show the bondsman that he has $100,000 worth of property to put down as collateral for him being out of jail. Because the bondsman's not going to say, okay, give me your 20 grand, here's your bond, have a nice day. No, he's got to tell the bondsman how much money he's got back in Wisconsin. He's got to say, okay, I got $100,000 in cars or something, and he's got to put all that in collateral. He has to sign it over to the bondsman. So no matter how much they set, if they give him bond, no matter how much they set, he's got the bondsman's fees he's got to come up with, and he's got to come up with a statement that shows just how much in collateral he's got, and it's got to be verifiable. The bondsman has to know that he has that property free and clear, so that if he jumps and decides he wants to go over to England and see Diane or whoever, the bondsman's got his money, because the bondsman has to pay the court if he jumps. So that's why they're pretty damn strict. They're just not going to give you a $100,000 bond and let you go about your business. They're going to want insurance, because their ass is on the sling if you decide to jump bail. People need to understand how the bail process works. And if he is given bond, he's going to be given stipulations. They may not allow him to leave the state of Florida, which means he's got to find a place to live, because he has to show them that he's in the state of Florida or in Broward County. So someone's going to have to figure out a way to give him a place to live. So he's got a lot of problems. He's better off staying in jail, because at least he's getting 3 squares and a cot. So, but as these processes move forward, and I see the progress of how he handles things once he gets down here, I'll keep you informed. And nice thing, I'm glad he's coming to Florida, because number one, he's on my turf. I covered the Casey Anthony case. I covered the Haley Cummins case to some extent, and in my private area group that I have, I've covered other cases in the state of Florida. And so I know how our sunshine law works down here. And I know exactly how to get information. I know what's allowed. And Field McConnell is in for a big shock. Robin says that his son is in Florida. Well, maybe his son will put him up if he gets out on bond. So anyway, I've got all the knowledge I need to get any information out of Field McConnell. I'm not dealing with Pierce County anymore. I know the rules down here. I know what forms to fill out, exactly what I need to do to get any information I want on Field McConnell once this case number hits the book. So I'm going to be getting all kinds of information on Field McConnell as this case progresses. And there's a couple things that I have in mind for when he gets down here. I got to do some checking, but I'm going to try and be as thorough as I possibly can in covering this case. Oh, he won't be in my county, Sabrina. What I mean by my territory is he's going to be in the state of Florida. He's going to be in Broward County, which is about a 3.5 hour drive from where I live. I live in Orange County, which is central Florida. You know, up here we have the Ninth Circuit, where Casey Anthony was first arraigned. I think that's the 5th Judicial Circuit down there. I'm going to have to check and see what the circuit is. But that's a different circuit down there. But I'm familiar with their operation down there. I know how to get FOIA requests out of them and the Sheriff's Department. So I will be getting all the records. I've got 3 banker boxes full of Casey Anthony documents. I've got CDs of her talking to her parents on the phone. I've got her commissary list. I could tell you what she bought on any given day while she was in prison, who she talked to, all the letters she got, everything. It's that open. Anybody sending a letter to Field McConnell, your name, address, and the contents of the letter will be subject to public request. And those letters will be published in full, unredacted, because it's all public record. You can't do privacy complaints because it's public record. Yeah, if the state doesn't redact it, it gets put online. It's that simple. Yeah, Citrus County. I've been down in Citrus County. I've been all over the state of Florida in my business. But I have resided in 3 Florida counties: Orange, Lake, and Osceola. And when I was a resident of Lake County, I was familiar, I was covering the case, and I also, the idiocy that was done against me was all done in Lake County. I also did public record searches over in Lake County for the unregistered sex offender that I reported on, and also on the Trenton Duckett case. Field will get to experience his worst nightmare. Yes, he will. He is going to the same prison that the Parkland shooter is in right now. And that guy is so bad, they actually gave him his own pod. They took an entire pod on the top floor of that building and cleaned it out. Because this guy is really out there. And it was bad. He actually, in May, he attacked a guard. And they scuffled and everything and broke it up. So he's in his own cell. His own cell, his own pod. They won't even put anybody with him. He's that bad. And they put a camera in his cell. There's a picture of this guy. And if you look up in the right-hand corner at the top, there's a camera. So he's under 24-hour watch. Probably suicide watch. And they may do the same thing to Field McConnell. If they feel that Field McConnell might harm himself, they may put him under 24-hour suicide watch. They'll have a camera in the cell, and guess what? They record the video from that camera, and it's a matter of public record. I can get that video. So if they put him in a cell with a camera in it, guess what? I'm doing a FOIA, and I'm going to get some video to show you what his jail cell looks like. The exact cell. Now, That's up to the state of Florida what they're going to do, but or Broward County actually. So we're going to see how that one goes. Well, Sabrina, like I just said, that might happen because of the nature of the crimes against Field McConnell, he's automatically going to be in medium security. And that's not a good place to be. He's going to be in with some hardened guys. And if he has to share a bunk with somebody, there's going to be a contest to see who gets the lower bunk. It's like a power play that takes place in prison. Is who's going to be the alpha dog, Field or the guy that's with him? And more than likely, it's going to be the guy that's with him. So Field McConnell's going to have to learn how to properly get into a bunk bed on the upper tier. The reason Marshall Leonard asked why did they give the guy a whole pod, because he's violent. That's number one. And number two, people want to kill him. This guy mowed down a bunch of students at Parkland High School, plus faculty. And he's not liked in the prison population. He's had death threats and all kinds of problems. And so they decided to put him in his own pod for his safety and the safety of everybody else. They could video Field McConnell and his fan network and watch him not away in prison/jail. Yeah, that's right. I've got to check. That's one of the things I'm going to do a FOIA on when the time comes, is to find out what his cell conditions are going to be. I can even find out who his cellmate is, because that's all, because they, your cell is like your street address. It's going to be a cell number. There's going to be an identification for what pod you're in, the whole 9 yards. So, and you'll be like A, and the other guy will be B. There's two people to a cell generally in that prison. You get a cot, which looks something like an army cot. It's not a mattress. It's just a flat cot. Now, they may have upgraded and got cots in there, but that's doubtful. And he's going to literally have burlap blankets. Potato sacks. They take the same company that makes potato sacks is under contract with the state of Florida to make blankets. And they're not army blankets where they're that fabric. It's burlap. Coarse burlap. And it itches like hell. It's kind of like wearing a bag of straw. So he's got to put up with that. They will allow him to wear his jumpsuit. So at least he'll be protected from the burlap, I guess. I don't know. He won't be sleeping naked. So he'll be in anyway. And there is not really lights out in that prison. The lights are on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can't have lights on in your cell, but it's kind of like dimmed. But there's always lights on. So he's going to have to learn to sleep in the daylight, so to speak. Now, there's a canal that goes by the prison with all these nice $3, $4, $5 million yachts parked next door and all this other stuff. You ain't going to be able to look, and the windows aren't that good. They're kind of narrow slits. They kind of look like something a sniper would hide behind with a gun and shoot you. There's, they're very narrow windows, and they're very difficult to see out of. They're only there to lead, to bring in natural sunlight. But they're high off the ground, so you can't go out and you can't stand there and try and figure out a way to wiggle out the window and drop down 7 floors to your death. Because he's not going to be on the ground floor. He's going to be at the minimum on the 5th floor on up from there. Because that's where medium. Medium starts at about the 5th floor and goes up from there. Mr. Cruz is up on the top floor. So he's not going to have a very good view. And he's going to have to kind of backpack, because if he goes for an appearance, say, okay, you get there, you got to go across the vestibule over to the courthouse. There's like an enclosed tunnel that goes over to the courthouse. It's a ground level, but you walk along this tunnel. It's not open to the public or anything like that. People aren't going to see him going back and forth. You're not going to be able to wave to him or anything like that. So he walks from the prison over to the main courthouse for his appearance. When he gets back, he may not have the same cell. He may be reassigned to a different cell. So he has to make sure he takes all his property with him. If he's got pictures, fan mail, legal documents, or whatever, that's all got to go with him. Because if he leaves it there and he comes back, they may throw it out. And they're going to tell you that. They're going to give you a handbook, and that handbook's going to tell you all that stuff. And one of these days, I'm going to get the handbook, and we're going to go through it. It's going to give you all the little rules that you got. And the one thing he's going to find is he may not be able to do any more of his little telephone calls. There's actually two reasons for that. First of all, Field McConnell right now is in lockdown indefinitely because he violated the conditions of his using telephones again. He made violent threats against court officials, and he implied the same towards Kim Picasio. Big mistake. He's coming to where Kim Picasio lives. She practices in Broward County Courthouse. So basically, she's going to be his next door neighbor when she's working. She's going to be in court right next door. She'll be able to go over to Townsend's restaurant and wave at him. She's going to be over at this nice little restaurant by the canal. I think it's Townsend's. It's Thompson's or Townsend's or something like that. And she'll be able to wave at Field and say, "Hi, Field, I'm down here having, a brewski or whatever they serve there. How you doing?" They'll be able to laugh at him. Kirk's Corner versus Mert. What the hell did I do to Kirk's Law? Besides call them scammers. They want to pull some shit with me. Bring it on. They're in my turf. I'll take them to the cleaners. Anyway, getting away from Kirk. So while everybody, all of us are out here nice, fat, happy, comfortable, staring at our computer monitors and doing whatever it is we do in life, Field McConnell's going to be staring at a Bible in a concrete cell. 6 by 10 feet, 6 by 8 feet, something like that. Going to have a door in front of him. It's going to be open door, the bars and all that, because you can't, guards got to be able to look in and make sure you're not doing something weird. And make sure that the two inmates aren't beating the crap out of each other. And it's also noisy. Inmates in prisons, I don't care where they are, in these big prisons, like to yell. I think they talk to each other. They scream, they talk, they shout. All night long. In the building are acoustically crap holes. They don't have sound deadening or anything like that. This is basically a building with concrete walls and floors. So it's like a big echo chamber. And so if somebody's talking, like if the guards are talking at their duty station, that conversation is going to go all over the place. And it's the same with the inmates. If you get 600 inmates in a pod talking all at once, it's going to be hell to pay. You're going to have a hell of a time getting a good night's sleep. And you're up early in the morning. They wake you up because your meals are set. Your breakfast and dinner, I don't know about lunch, but your meals are given to you at a specified time. You either eat or you starve. So you'll be marched down, you'll eat. Depending on your status, you'll either sit there in the atrium, or whatever they call a common area, and watch TV, and wait your turn to talk on the phone, do whatever it is you do while going through the day. I haven't even been paying attention to the kick that field trip out. Who needs that crap? Well, what is field trip doing? Well, field trip, if you'd rather watch Kirk's Law Center, go watch Kirk's Law Center. Why the hell are you in here? This is one thing I don't understand about these morons. They come in here and they say all this pansy stuff. They say, "Oh, I'd rather be over watching Kirk's Law." Well, go watch Kirk's Law. Why come in here? I get the biggest kick. And they're actually, you guys don't understand, they're doing me a favor. Because YouTube watches channels to see how much attention's being paid to them. Hours watched, how many people watch, all this stuff. So all these people that are trolling me are building up my station. They're building up my channel. Because YouTube says, hey, this guy's getting a lot of attention. He's getting 8,000 hours a month and stuff. He's worth monetizing and so on and so forth. So they're helping me out, believe it or not. You know, he's calling the ladies feral porcine. Yeah, it means feral pigs. Well, that just shows you the kind of people that follow Field McConnell and who Field McConnell is himself. They respect nobody. You know, they demean women. They hate women. You know, Field McConnell, Timothy Charles Holmseth, Kirk Pendergrass, Mr. Elliott, and at least 5 or 6 others of these people in this group, the male members, have had problems with women. They don't like women. Look at Preacher Dan. I mean, this guy's going through women like people go through cheeseburgers. I mean, you know, he just buys one, uses it up, throws it away. That's the kind of people follow Field McConnell. They're women haters. You know, and I don't understand the women. You know, this is a guy that made death threats against the mother of 3 children. A mother of children. Somebody's daughter. Somebody who's, you know, seeing the mother of their grandchildren being terrorized by this 70-year-old old fool from Wisconsin. And these mothers think, man, she's a Democrat. If Field don't like her, we don't like her. That's the basis for what they're doing here. If Field doesn't like her, they don't like her. It's the only reason. You know, and it's strange. I don't get it. All right, let me see. What the hell this... Yeah, looks doesn't determine sanity, unfortunately. I think some of the dumbest people in the world are the best looking. Well, see, the thing is, I do not understand why Field Trip is in here, other than to troll us and to upset everybody. And Mert is triggered. And what am I triggered? See, Field Trip, you know, for all we know, he's Tim Holmseth under a different name, or some of these other weirdos. They come in here, they don't even bother to use their real name. Sabrina Brown was in jail. Who is Sabrina Brown? I have no idea. Well, the chat is recorded, so anybody can come back and look at it. What you doing, Skippy? I think individually you guys can block wherever you don't want. You just go up to the 3 dots. You hit the 3 dots. You got report, remove, put user in time, hide user, and add moderator. So, by popular demand, I deleted the message. I think all the Field Trip stuff is about to go bye-bye. Because normally I wouldn't do that, but, you know, I don't want to get everybody upset in here. So I'm just going to go down through and... Okay, this user's messages will be hidden, so we'll see if that works. You know, he can still view, but he just can't post anything. So, yeah. You know, my job here is to please my audience, not me. So, If he's creating problems in the room, then he goes away. So, I'm pretty good at squashing bugs. So. But Field, if you're watching, then just watch and shut the flock up. You're welcome, Ruby. As much as I don't mind the trolls, I've got to take you people into account. You're the targets of these people, and I got to understand that. Well, nobody's perfect. Alright. It's funny. I go over to... people don't understand. There's somebody that said, "Praise God, the nightmare is over." ? Dear Lord, I hope so. Thank you, Bridget. The only problem is these people don't understand that it's not over. Not by a long shot. Field McConnell's got a long ways to go. See, I think what happened, this is in this thing that Timothy Holmes Seth wrote. He said, Nancy Ho, Sheriff, Pierce County, Wisconsin, has been notified in writing that the writ of habeas corpus has been filed with a federal court in Wisconsin. The case number is 3:20-CB-00136 has been assigned. Now, just because you file something with a court doesn't mean it's going anywhere. Tim Holmes should know this because he has filed so many lawsuits with the court that they labeled him a vexatious litigant. This writ of habeas corpus that the doctor filed, which was Michael Olson is the one that filed this, and not going anywhere. I've already checked on it. It's an invalid filing. It's not going to be heard. It's out of order. And, the doctor's probably been told that, and he's just not going to report it because he basically was told, just screw it up. And then there's one comment by Jason who's wrong because he's saying now you can get something done on the federal side and unload. No, you can't because it's not a federal case. It's a state case. It's got to go to the state of Florida first. Go through every level down in the state of Florida, and then maybe 5 or 6 years ago, if you want to argue something, you can. But you're going to have to wait at least 2-3 years before you can do anything. Because all anybody has to do is look at Parkland. This is a high-profile case. This is a murder case, yet it's taken 2 years for it to get this far in the court. So all you got to do is you go back and look at everything that was done from the day that guy was arrested to the day's date, and you're going to find that Field McConnell's got the same problem. Because he's being accused of a violent crime. Making more or less a death threat against an officer of the court. That's pretty serious. Third-degree felony. Remember, he's being charged with multiple third-degree felonies. So Mr. McConnell's got a dark future. So I wouldn't, if I were those people up in that Pentagon Pedophile Task Force and the Children's Crusade, I wouldn't be breaking out the champagne anytime soon because there's nothing to celebrate. Yeah, walking into a landmine in Florida is an understatement. He's walking into one of the worst county jails we have in the state of Florida. He'd be better off up here in Orange County. It's same architecture, but it's a better prison. But this celebrating they're doing over on Randy's page and Timothy's page is just these people are making fools out of themselves. And speaking of Randy, there's a little bit of a pissing match going on. I got into this a little bit earlier. And this is what Randy wrote. This is Carol, K-E-I-H-N, from Indiana. She has a power of attorney from Field McConnell to act on his behalf to save his house. She is the, quote, expert on Field's real estate situation. Who knows anything about her? She sent this to me, and it's a picture of her butt, I guess. Either after I tried to help Field save his house. I am licensed in all areas of real estate. I could not override her POA from Field to her with my professional advice. She has the final say because of the power of attorney. Field's property has been approved by the judge for foreclosure auction in the next few months. Help me help Field. Field needs to save his house. Dig, people dig. She appeared for Field in court on his behalf. Help me. This is, I was floored when I read this because I was under the impression that Randy was behind everything, that she had everything under control. She was this big deal in real estate. And yet somehow this woman from Indiana was able to wiggle herself into all this. Well, that's what I'm doing right now. Because Randy's in this cat fight with this woman. Ask the judge if you're a public servant. Also ask the judge if they think you're a public servant. If not, where is the grand jury if one is present? If not, then impeach the judge with the pink slip that I have photos on my wall. And this was written by another one of these alternative law yo-yos. Yes, I did read them. Golden Mare. Now the chat is recorded, so when the Murtathon is done, it'll start. And I started reading the papers almost immediately, so you'll be able to listen to my rendition of it. I am going to have to start some kind of a file system so all these things are online so people can get them at their leisure. As I've been told when I put stuff in the videos that some people aren't able to read them. I'm not sure if it's because they're on smartphones or what the situation is. I know I can read them on my Galaxy, but some of you, for whatever reason, are not able to read them on whatever devices you're using, and I'm not sure what the reason is behind that. So, probably on my Facebook page, or I'll start one of these BitChute things. I'll put up all the documents, especially since now that I'm going to be covering Field McConnell from here on out pretty well through the process, I'm going to have to get a file system set up so that everybody can look at the files as I put them up, and in a way that they're able to read them. And, sometimes I have to, you guys got to let me know when you think I should start doing stuff like that when I'm getting into reading documents or putting stuff up on the video, because I don't want people to miss out. Right now I don't have huge numbers. I got it pretty good. We're up to 73 current viewers, so the numbers are going up halfway decent. People like Monty have got me beat hands down on audience length, but, but I want to make sure that everybody has a chance to see everything, when we get into the actual coverage. And this is going to be more important with my live streams. Now, I had intended today of going down to the Orange County courthouse and doing a test live stream to kind of make sure my equipment's going to work, because I can tap into the Wi-Fi down at the courthouse and bypass the YouTube restriction. But once I get my mobile phone and get my hotspot set up, then I can live stream the way I normally do. So I was going to do a test run. I did it on Twitter, and the problem with that is when you're doing stuff on Twitter, the numbers aren't there because not everybody has Twitter. I was surprised to find out that a lot of people that tune in here don't. They're not on Twitter, which I wish people would get on Twitter at least to where they could be notified of my videos. But as my learning curve goes up and I have more time to do things, I will get better organized so that you'll get notifications and so forth, and things will move a little bit smoother as time goes on. Boy, Skippy, you're sure making a mess in there. He likes to get into things. Let's see. I was talking to... But they... they're praying for Field, which is... They're right. I think they're misguided with their prayers. Now, this is an interesting statement that Randy makes. This is why I'm going public. What the hell is going on here? I offered to put in my cash to save Field's house interest-free to stop the foreclosure. At the time, it was $65,000 in exchange for a note and mortgage. The woman accused me of trying to steal Field's home. Duh. What the hell? I have 3 already mortgage free. Well, apparently Randy didn't bother telling anybody there is such a thing known as flipping, and there's other people interested in that house. I certainly do not have the time to manage hardly the 3 I have, let alone have another. What the hell is wrong with this woman? Do you think I should risk my licensing and judgeship for this? I walked. Now they need like $400,000 to redeem it. And she had the nerve to call me a C-word and a pile of other crap. She is nothing but a loudmouth, making it worse and worse. I had to walk. Her power of attorney from Field overrode my professional advice and money. I am thinking now that Kirk also had to walk because of this loudmouth. So now they're putting all the blame for everybody's troubles on this woman who I've never heard of. And so there's a bit of a catfight going on over Field's house. So, what we've got going on here is that people are trying different things with the house. Now, whether they're trying to help Field or whether they're trying to get the house out from under them is hard to say. But the one big thing that comes out in all this is now the amount of money owed on the house is at $400,000. And that is the value of the house. The house is worth $450,000. And by the time you sell the house at auction and everything, the bank is going to lose their shirt on it, number one. And Field's not going to get any money. And the buyer may or may not be stuck with the liens on the house. It depends on what happens. Because usually what happens is when people buy houses, they negotiate with the bank and say, we're not going to buy this house until you sign off on all these encumbrances. Because that just adds to the price of the house. Otherwise, they're going to bid it down. And that's likely what's going to happen. You're going to have a $400,000 mortgage on a house. Someone's going to come in, a cash buyer's going to come in, give a couple $100,000 in a house, maybe spend $100,000 on all the encumbrances, and they're going to walk with a profit. The bank won't be able to, the bank can't collect the balance of the mortgage from the new buyer. They have to collect that from Field. So the auction's not the end of it for Field, and it's not the end of it for the bank. And then you got the IRS you got to figure out what to do about. It's going to be an absolute mess. So that house is going to be tied up in court for probably 6 months before all this gets unscrambled. The house will be upside down, Rapunzel. That's a definite yes. When banks get into these foreclosure proceedings, they know they're going to lose. And they're going to lose big. And the thing of it is, Field McConnell's going to think, well, they took my house, they foreclosed on it, we're done. Nope. Bank's going to sue them for the balance. They're going to say, hey, you got a $400,000 balance, we're going to take you to court for the balance. And they're going to start coming in, and that's when you're going to hear about the true meaning of the word writ of replevin. Some idiot, I think it was Field that threw that around, but a writ of replevin is a repossession order. That's a term I'm quite familiar with in my industry, which is car dealer. This is what we issue when that's what you issue when you repossess a car. It's called a writ of replevin. It basically means writ of return. It means it's mine, you didn't pay for it, give it back, and you go get it. So that's what's going to happen. Is they're going to file a writ of replevin, and they're going to start going after stuff in, his other property. Not so much but they're going after equipment, barns, any assets. How long before he starts selling cars? Well, it probably won't be long because he's going to need it. One very important fact that people may not realize is Field McConnell is not going to qualify for a public defender status. He makes too much money. His pension that he makes as a pilot, retired pilot, is enough to knock him out of it. He's got all the other properties. He's got all those antique cars. So he is not going to qualify for a public defender. He's going to have to hire an attorney, or he's going to have to represent himself. That's as simple as it gets. Because I've already checked on that one. Well, anybody can come in here as long as they're not abusive. I don't block you because you're a Field supporter or a Kirk supporter or whatever. If you come in here, behave yourself. We're not hiding in here. This is not a private room. Well, you want the cars? I charge 20% at brokerage fee. If I arrange the sale of the car to you, it's 20% of the value of the sale. On a $100,000 car, that'd be $20,000. That's how I used to make my money. I used to broker deals all over the country. And the way it works is whatever the car sells for, it's 20% of the value of the car. Now, what I do not do, I do not charge both the buyer and the seller that 20%. It depends on who I contract with. I can contract with the seller to sell it, or I can contract with the buyer to buy it. I don't contract with both. If I happen to have somebody on my list that's a buyer, and I've contracted with the seller to sell a car, the seller pays the commission and the buyer does not. And it's the reverse is the same too. Well, I thought I had pushed Field Trip out of the room because it was by request by several people. He just was disruptive to the point where I had to throw him out. I don't normally do that, but this room belongs to you guys, and if you don't like the way things are done in this room, I have to do something about it. I don't, I have to clear something up here. It was mentioned that we're getting into politics. Believe it or not, the vast majority of my subscribers and people that I've been interacting with for the past year are Trump supporters. Now, I'm not a Trump supporter, but I'm not going to censor somebody from this room because they support Trump. That's not why I'm here. I'm not here to debate left, right, center, right-wing politics. I'm here to debate the actions of scammers. There's scammers all over. the political spectrum. Hello, Trump train. Uh, and so, if you're a Trump supporter, you're more than welcome to come in here. I would appreciate it if you didn't go overboard on your politics, because we're not here for politics. I'm not going after Tim Holmseth, Field McConnell, or any of these other people because they support Trump. I'm going after them because they're liars, they're scammers, and they're putting people's safety and security at stake with some of the actions they're taking place in. And that's it. So if people want to poke fun of me because I'm a lefty, which I'm not, I'm considered a moderate. There's things on both sides of the political spectrum that I support, but I don't support the extreme right and I don't support the extreme left. So bear that in mind when you're criticizing me for anything that I say or do on this channel, or on Twitter, or on Facebook, or wherever else I am on the internet. I think, one of the reasons. What's funny is that this was supposed to have been a political channel. I was going to take sides. But because of what's been going on with Tim Holmseth and Field McConnell and the rest of this bunch, I've changed the format. And now it's going to be to discuss people that are crooks on the internet and some of the crap that they're pulling. Because once Field McConnell goes down the road and some of these other people go down the road, I'm going to continue on because there's a big demand to start going after these people that are taking advantage of people in bad situations. This business with Cynthia Absuck is a good example. This is a woman. I don't take sides on Cynthia Absuck, but she was taken advantage of by people that did not have her situation on their agenda. They took her case for their own reasons, and now she's paying a price for it. So that's my sole purpose, is to expose these people for what they're doing to women that are having problems with CPS. I'm not going to be getting into an argument about whether or not CPS is bad or good, or whether they're doing what people are accusing them of. I'm after the people that are taking advantage of the problems these people are having and cheating them in the process and making matters worse. I'll be back in a minute. I gotta take care of something here. And let me see. Oh boy, this queuing is not working on the way there. Well, shoot. This is not. There we go. This is what I wanted. Alright, folks, I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that, folks. There's something I needed to do. Let me get back online here. It's been one of them nights. Randy is correct there, sharp as a tack. Field McConnell is back in solitary because he violated the rules over the weekend. He's been back in solitary since, I believe, Friday or Saturday, and he's going to remain in solitary until he comes to Florida. He basically made threats against judges and everyone. Implied that Kim was a target once again, and so the judge said, okay, you're going back into solitary. You know, at first I thought maybe they just revoked his phone privileges, but it turned out to be a little bit more serious than that, and I got to move this over a little bit. So, you know, so Field basically just screwed himself. Okay, what's been going on since my absence here? You know, hello to anybody that's come in. I had to go and take care of business here for a few minutes, so. It's also because they're moving him. That is the policy. You might be correct, all one word. I don't know the specific policy of that particular institution, so it could be very well be that he's being moved as a matter of policy on the part of the prison. That would make sense. Well, this thing just didn't want to center. Well, I'm just going to have to let it be. No, you won't hear from him on his little webcast, but you'll hear from him through public records that I'm going to be getting. Anybody that writes to him, anything that's done in the course of his, whatever is done in the course, like if he buys stuff from the commissary or what have you, all that's public record, and there'll be updates. I'm going to cover every aspect of his life, while he's in prison. He is not going to have any privacy at all. None. Well, people have been trashing me for years. If he wants to trash me over at Northwest Liberty News, then have at it. I would imagine that Northwest Liberty hasn't liked the fact that I am partially blaming them for what happened with Cindy Absug. But, you don't get into the internet and not expect to be criticized at some point. So if people are going to criticize me, what the hell? I had Timothy Holmeshouse calling me a pedophile for the last 10 years. So anything anybody else says is, that's going to be kind of hard to top that one. Well, as far as Northwest Liberty, I don't care. He basically supports what he supports, and unless there's something illegal he's doing, he's got the constitutional right to be stupid. And the only problem he's got to worry about is did he get involved in enough with the Cindy Absug case in that they could get him for aiding and abetting a fugitive? If that turns out to be the case, he might have something to worry about. But that I don't know. All right, where to go? Oh, poo. I hate it when I do that. Damn, why isn't it grabbing it? Sorry, folks, I'm trying to do an adjustment here and I'm running into a problem. There we go. Had to get this back up. I made a mistake on my editing here and kind of paying the price for it, so I have to get myself back where I need to be here. So I was trying to get rid of that little red line that's appearing on the side of the display. That was because of a mistake I made when setting up the console. And it's going to take a while for it to disappear. Oh, sharpest attack is the... Yeah, the man giving Randy advice on this stuff is just another one of these alternative law people. It's, yeah. Randy's is just as screwed up as they are. So I don't feel sorry for her at all. Matter of fact, if she's out of the loop, it's probably better. Now, it's hard to say what's going to happen as a result of all this. I think this Carol Keene, or whatever her name is, I think she's going to wind up getting into all kinds of a battle here with these people. But, that's an indication that nobody's in agreement in that side of the corral what's going to be done about this house. It's not a uniform body over there. Everybody's going off in all different directions as to how they feel things are going to go. And the band of brothers and sisters, so to speak, is breaking up to some extent over there. Tim is holding on by the skin of his teeth right now, but I think eventually Tim is going to be becoming less and less relevant. And I have a feeling that the Watchman guy is going to come out of this on top. Oh, what do we got here? Interesting. Well, it looks like Denise McConnell's getting into the fray here. All right. Okay. Remnant Warrior tickets. I have a feeling they're going to figure out a way not to refund those tickets. The guy, this Watchman guy, there's quite a history on him. And I'm going to be looking into him closer as time goes on, but he seems like he's a real winner. I did watch the video on that Agent 19 did, and also I went over to a channel, and I forgot I was subscribed to the thing, and I think it's Discuss, I think is the name of it, and he really hammered people. Yeah, he brought up more people. I'm sorry, folks, I was reading something at the same time, but he really hammered into these scammers, and he went into people I haven't even heard of. And the fact that they're charging over $100 a piece for these conferences, I mean that's pretty damn. You figure you get 1,000 people times $100, that's $100,000. That's serious money. Even if you get 100 people times 100, that's 1,000. You get 500 people. That's $50,000. You know, that's when you start doing the math on these ticket prices. You're talking some pretty serious money just to sit there and listen to some guy babble for an hour. I mean, that's what this David Straight's doing. He's running around the country charging $100 a pop for these seminars. And, Jesus. Yeah, there's big money in that crap. More than I thought. Yeah, I thought maybe these people were giving $5 a piece on YouTube channels. And no, they're giving $50, $100, $150 to listen to these people yammer on for an hour. Yeah, that... Daniel Grant, Mike Carr, boy, those people are pieces of work. But this is something here. There you go, man. Let me see. Try to do something here. I'm trying to see if I can do something here, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Let me see. Because I don't want... No, that's doing exactly what I don't want. Okay, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. So I'm going to read it. Let me know. Let's see. Yeah, I heard that impersonation that Monty did the other night. That was funny as hell. Boy, the lag time on this thing is amazing. Have you guys see the text yet? Because I'm trying to get this to... Come on. There we go. Okay. I'm going to read this. If you can't read it, you can listen to my babble. This is addressed to Pierce County Sheriff Nancy Howell, Law Enforcement, 555 Overlook Drive, Post Office Box 9, Ellsworth, Wisconsin, 54001. I would like to lodge a formal criminal complaint against Kim Lowry Pacazio for filing false police reports with the Pierce County Sheriff's Department against my husband, Field McConnell. It is my understanding that filing a false police report is also known as interference with law enforcement. Your own deputy noted that the licensed attorney Pacazio, on not one but two separate occasions, provided false information in separate police reports. Your deputy found no crime had been committed in either case. See attached. Kim Pacazio is a licensed attorney who knew or should have known the reports were false. Kim Pacazio also filed false reports in Minnesota. The false report was that Timothy Holmseth had made death threats to Pacazio. No charges were filed against Holmseth nor against Sarah Westall. See attached. Finally, Pacazio has filed false police reports against James Schmbeck in Florida. Well, I guess I'll be looking into that one. Pacazio falsely claimed Schmbeck had stolen $50,000. It turned out, well, accused her of having an affair again. Open records request. I am also requesting copies of incident reports and any and all body camera video and or dash camera video for the 11/4/2019 request of Field McConnell and the 10/9/2019 and 10/22/2019 service of process for Kim Pacazio petitioner versus Field McConnell respondent, Broward County case DVCE19007230. Plus, I want the audio recorded statements of Kim Picasio. Well, guess what, Mrs. McConnell? I will be doing the same thing. I'm going to request the same materials you are. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the webcam. Put this down here. Because since Mrs. McConnell was kind enough to provide the material, or the dates and everything, I can now get FOIAs on all this stuff. So first thing Monday morning, I'm going to be calling Pierce County. And guess what? It's going up on this channel. So we will all be able to see the day that Field McConnell was placed under arrest. We will be able to see when he was given the paperwork. So this is stuff that I had not known that I could get right away. And what Miss McConnell doesn't realize, and then she's going to find out when she gets to Florida, is he made these threats on the air. I personally witnessed it. There's people out there that witnessed it. These people witnessed it. So Miss McConnell has just filed a false police report. So guess what? Kim can file a false police report against Mrs. McConnell, and she can also sue Mrs. McConnell. So these people aren't too damn bright. Now, some idiot probably told her to do this. You know, so it's not a good thing to be doing. Well, you know, this is to the source of this information, as I think she's in here, but I agree with you. This guy, whoever the blog was that put this up, has just made matters a whole hell of a lot worse for Mrs. McConnell, and she's also given me information I need to file the FOIA request, because I will be filing for those videos myself, and I will go over them on the air, so everybody's going to see it. So, yeah, actually, anybody that watched Field McConnell's recordings are material witnesses to a crime, and they could do a friend of the court brief and let the court know in Florida that he said what he said in exact detail with dates, timestamps, the whole 9 yards, and that'll be put on the record. Yeah, it may not be entered in evidence in the trial itself, but it'll be in there in the discovery. So do note that, because when I do my FOIAs, the names will come up of whoever does that. So you may want to take that into account if you decide to do that. Yeah, this is the thing. Mrs. McConnell, unfortunately, is another one of these that's being given bad advice. And she's got the address down. She must be living in the house, because she's put the address of the house down. So she's I have been told she's in here on a tourist visa. So we'll see how that one goes. Oh boy, some people are just plain stupid. Yeah, it's just, it amazes me how stupid these people are to think that filing this kind of a letter with the sheriff's department is going to go anywhere. She didn't even do it properly. There's a form you fill out. But I don't know, who the hell's this idiot? I have no idea who this guy is. Somebody just sent me a reply to something, and I have no idea who he is or what he's talking about. Oh well. I have no idea what that was about. I'm rather curious as to how long her visa's good for. Tourist visas generally are somewhat short, plus she has to, in some cases, you have to tell what you're doing here. Now, what I don't understand is this woman's supposed to be married to Field McConnell. Why in hell does she need a tourist visa to get into this country? There is something weird going on with that woman. The guy who writes that blog is a cop hater. Probably. I have no idea who that person is, but he doesn't know his ass from the hole in the ground. Because that complaint filed by Mrs. McConnell isn't going anywhere. Yeah, they're going to look at that and say, man, okay, you want all these videos, you're welcome to them. But now that you put it out there, everybody's going to get it. I'm going to get it. First thing Monday morning. This is why, this is what the funds are for, son, because I got to pay for this crap. It's going to cost me about $50 to get all this stuff. But I'm going to get it. Mr. Plastic is going to be saying hello to the sheriff's department. She is a mail order bride, but yeah, she may be a mail order bride, but if there is a marriage, a legally recognized marriage between those two, she is now married to the citizen of the United States. And she should have gotten a permanent resident visa to be over here. There's no reason for a tourist visa, so there's something weird going on. Somebody said she was married in Nevada, so, alright, Nevada should have a record of their license in the marriage. And guess what? I haven't been able to find one. Nobody has been able to produce a marriage license for those two. So there's something weird going on here. As people marry American citizens so that they can get in this country. So it's called a green card marriage. So something weird's going on. Yeah, there was a movie made about that. It's called Green Card, of all things, and it was basically about this guy that married an American woman in order to be in the country. And it turned out that it was kind of a romance movie and just a dumb movie altogether, but it was called Green Card. You can find a marriage license if it exists. You just have to know where the hell they got married. If they got married in the continental United States, whatever state they got married in, even if it's Nevada, you got to have a marriage license. And it's a matter of public record. It's not private. So. James, if I read the divorce case on that, he is legally divorced from the last wife. So there's no bigamy involved as far as I know. I think what might have happened is he didn't wait long enough after the divorce or something. I don't know if there's a waiting time or whatever the deal was. But the thing of it is, if him and Denise are legally married, there is a license. And there should be no problem for Denise or someone else to produce the license. Why is it so damn hard to produce a marriage license? I mean, it'd probably be in the safe in the house. You just open the safe. Oh, here's the license. Put it up online. Redact information you don't want out there, just as long as it shows that you were married at such and such a place at such and such a time, and you were done so by someone that's authorized by the state in question to do the marriage. None of this is out there. There's rumors as to they probably got married in Nevada, but no proof. If Denise got married in the United Kingdom, then they have public records in the United Kingdom. I don't know what their licensing requirements are over there, but I'm pretty sure you got to have a marriage license. So, anybody on here that knows anything about the laws over there, give us some input. But, until I see something that's signed by an official, they're not married in my eyes. Even if you get married overseas, there's documents there. Plus, the fact that you're a foreign national, which in this case, Field McConnell would be the foreign national, there has to be some record. Because then it's going to be Field McConnell that needs the paperwork to be in England. Golden Marie had friends in the 60s that married an immigrant. She came to realize she thought he had a free road to yeah, that's not as cut and dried as you think it is, as far as being, coming in here and marrying and getting a green card and all that. Because if they find it's a fraudulent marriage, they'll deport you in a heartbeat. And there's all kinds of stuff that they have to meet when they come in the United States. They claim that, well, what are the laws in Wales? Wales comes into this a lot. Claim after Vegas. The thing of it is, if they were married in Las Vegas, they had to get a marriage license. It's the easiest state to get married in, but you still have to get a Nevada marriage license. It's really cut and dried. You just put your names on a piece of paper, and I don't know if you have to prove anything other than who you are, like with a driver's license or something, but you get married. People go down there and get married all the time. That's what it's famous for. It's their, other than gambling, it's one of the biggest industries in Nevada. UK marriage, May 20th, 2017. Where's the license? This is the thing. You can sit there and you can have a marriage performed by somebody, but if you don't have a license, it doesn't count. I mean, there was a famous case down here in Florida where this woman married a billionaire, and it turned out to be a commitment ceremony, not a legal marriage, and she lost custody of her child and the estate. That was one of the weirdest trials I ever went to in the state of Florida, naturally, down in Miami. That was a strange case, because she was a younger woman. I don't think she was really young, but the guy was like 80, 90 years old. And they were supposed to have had a baby together. I mean, that guy, 90-year-old guy that's able to produce a little one, man, that guy had some moxie left in it. It turned out to be wrong, of course. Yeah, that's correct. They have all kinds of weird stuff. They got at least one Elvis impersonator to get you married. You can get married in your car. You can drive up and they'll marry you right in the car. I mean, they do all kinds of weird stuff in Las Vegas. What in the hell is this? His profile has been altered. No banner, no pic, no profile. Seems the hero is being erased before our very eyes. What evil? This is some idiot that's in support of Field. Just one game. I have no idea what this is about. These people are tagging me in this shit, and I have no idea why. I have no idea how immigration law works when it comes to marriages. I mean, things keep getting changed around almost on a daily basis. It's just that, you have to have proof of marriage somehow. In either the United Kingdom or the United States. You gotta have it. So, if Denise is married, legally, she should be able to prove it. And there should not be this big problem with the visa. This is what I've never been given a specific reason why she had such a hell of a time getting in this country. Six months after judgment. Okay. So the thing we need to wonder sharp is, did Field McConnell wait 6 months after his divorce came final to marry Denise? I mean, this is, we're talking, what, 2 or 3 years since they were supposedly married. Yeah, Sabrina, that's the one thing about Nevada is I don't think there's anything needed there. You just hand over your fee and you get married. And that's a state thing. That's not a city thing. I don't think Las Vegas has their own thing. It's under the domain of the state of Nevada. Shepherd's attack? Well, if that's the case, then, maybe that's why she had a problem getting a visa back into the country. That they found out she's not legally married. And if that's the case, and she's telling the state of Wisconsin that she's the wife of Field McConnell, she just filed a false police report. So, she better be able to prove that she's married. Because, if for some reason they want to question Denise's marriage status, and they find out she's not legally married, she could be charged. So, that ought to be interesting. Yeah, Tom, I would imagine that they got a temporary visa for her until the 3 years were up. That's what I would suspect would be done. And that's, again, this has to do with the various laws, and people should be checking into these laws to make sure that they're legally able to get married. That's just the way it is. And if these people are running around and either deliberately or carelessly violating the law, then they're going to pay for the price for it down the road. You have a good night, Daniel. Thanks for stopping in. Gee, I don't know what I'm going to talk about tomorrow night, but we may just do informal babble. Probably repeat the same garbage. If anything else comes about, I'll talk about it tomorrow night. But I don't know if what Denise wrote could be considered a formal police report. Normally, you have to. Any police report you file, there's a statement on there to where you swear that the information that you're providing is true and correct. They do that in the event that you're filing a false police report. And what Denise did is she just wrote a letter. And the only thing that she's going to be able to get out of that, she may get the information that she requested as a FOIA. I'll find that out when I do the process Monday to get the same material she's asking for. I'm going to ask them that question if they consider that a proper police report, or whether she's going to have to go down to the sheriff's department and file the specific form they have for that. Now, to be perfectly honest, I'm not that interested in Kirk and Field. They're so far out on a limb as far as their legal stuff. They're not interesting to listen to, and I simply don't care about them. If they get to the investigative part where law enforcement starts slapping arrest warrants on them and stuff, then they'll get my attention. But other than that, I really don't care about them. They're just nitwits operating a Facebook channel. Filing frivolous in court is not wise. No, it'll get you labeled as a vexatious litigant, and then you're going to have to go out and get yourself a bar lawyer before you do anything. That's what happened to Tim Holmes. Because that guy was filing a lawsuit a week. Every time he turned around, he had stuff in court. I got a hard drive full of his crap. He went nuts. And if these people, that's what these people do. They tie up the courts with these idiot documents, and it's called paper terrorism, I guess is what the term was on the show that I listened to the other night. And there are laws against doing that. But Denise needs to be careful with what she's doing. She can get herself in legal trouble if she goes too far off base with whatever she's doing up there. The judicial system is not a toy to play with. Granted on 3 December 2015 and on 15 June 2016 became married. So that's February, March, April, May, June. So she's short. It's an invalid marriage. That's only 5 months. So that can be annulled. And by signing a piece of paper as the wife of Field McConnell, she just committed perjury. Well, Marcia, she did what Denise did in that letter was two things. She went and filed a police report, and then she turned around and basically filed a FOIA request at the bottom for all that material. Now, I don't know how the sheriff is going to respond to that. Other than they may send her a thing and saying, well, if you want a FOIA request, this is what you have to do, because it's not free. So I'll find that out, and I'm going to call and find out, oh, there go the orbs. I'm going to find out what the formal process is with that agency for getting FOIAs done. I hadn't bothered with it because other people are out there getting the information, so I didn't really need to do anything. They shared their information with me, and then I put it up here. And all the information that was of any value was coming out of the court instead of out of the sheriff's office. But now I can go to the FOIAs to the sheriff's office and get the information. And now that Field McConnell's leaving the state of Wisconsin, there's really no reason for them to dispute anything I asked for. So we'll see. My tears are so yummy and sweet. Okay. Boo-hoo-hoo. I'm not sure if it's my tears or somebody else's tears. Tears are tears. Yeah, somebody said something over on Twitter and tagged me in it. I guess it's to this other... Oh, yeah, I see what it is. Interesting stuff going over on Twitter right now. Well, the hearing for the final order for divorce judgment was set for March 15th, 2016. So no way he was divorced before then. Yeah, there has to be a final judgment. So they're in violation of the state law up there. And that legally, that marriage is annulled. She is not legally married to Field McConnell. Field Tear Party. Yeah, it's a Field Tear Party, all right. He's probably sitting in there thinking, what the hell did I get myself into? Because Field has got, when you're sitting alone in a jail cell and you find out that you've lost this 3.5 month long battle, and you got to realize that you have no hope. That, when you get to Florida, you're in a different world. You're not in a Hicktown County jail anymore. You're in the big time. Jeez, that woman's 18 years old. Ooh, looks older than that. Yeah, May of 2017. Well, it depends on when the final decree is. The thing of it is, if they're legally married, she just has to show they're legally married. It's as simple as that. If she can show they're legally married, then that point is moot. But the funny thing about all this is if she was legally married to Field McConnell, I don't understand what the issue was with the visa. Why she had a hard time getting back into this country. And why on earth would she have to come in under a tourist visa? It just doesn't make sense. Nobody has ever been clear as to why she was not able to gain entry into this country. Because, number one, Walt Disney is the number one tourist agent, destination in the world. And we get people from the United Kingdom all the time. There's thousands of them. Every time I go to the airport, there's people with British accents all over the place. We got Virgin Atlantic, and we've got we got Thomas Cook comes in here, Virgin comes in here. And I think there's like 5 airlines that fly directly from the UK to Orlando. And these people have no problem. They go right through. They go through immigration, no problem at all. Back and forth. Easiest thing in the world to get a visa into this country from the United Kingdom. So I don't understand what the holdup is with her. There's got to be something seriously wrong with her documents that she couldn't get back in this country. Keychain, that's an interesting point. Why isn't she stepping in? She would go to see her husband in jail, a visit. That's a good question. I don't know if she has or not. And I don't know why it was necessary for her to write a letter. All she's got to do is just get in one of those cars, drive down to the sheriff's office, and personally fill out a form. There should be no reason to send a letter. So there's something going on here. And I'm going to get a copy of that letter, and normally when you do a FOIA on a written letter to an agency, they provide the envelope that the thing was sent in. I want to see what the postmark was. And just curious, because something doesn't sound right about this whole thing. If there's a postmark other than Pierce County, then there's something funny going on with that letter. So, it's just, the letter's not going anywhere anyway. I mean, they probably had a big laugh over there. Saying, what the hell's this? I mean, we just had, this could have been brought up in the habeas complaint. All the stuff that she wrote in that letter was addressed in the habeas complaint. Because Field argued that he was illegally arrested and all this other crap. And it was false arrest, and the judge threw it out. He said, none of this happened. So she's just repeating what Field put in his complaint. And the judge dismissed it. It's the stuff I read at the beginning of this broadcast. So it's just, she just wasted her time. And it's going to be, they're going to put it in a file cabinet someplace and forget about it. She wants to go down there and make an issue of it, because they're not going to give her that crap for free. They're going to tell us, look, if you want the DVD or want all this stuff, we charge X number, you're going to get an hourly rate to reproduce that CD. It's $3 a page for any written document. So, you better come up with about $50, $60 for this crap. And I'll know the cost Monday when I call and talk to them, because I'm going to call the records division of that sheriff's office. I'm going to mention that there's a letter from Mrs. McConnell, and I'm going to tell them I want everything that's in that letter, and I'll have a copy of it on my smartphone, and I'll read it off to them. I said, this is what I want, and they're going to tell me how much it's going to cost to do that, and I'll just break out Mr. Plastic Man, and depending on how they work their system, I'll get that information, and maybe next week on the next Friday or Saturday Murtathon, I'll have this information. Well, it doesn't matter if she's a wife, sister, daughter, friend of hers, whatever. You can file a complaint on behalf of somebody. But the thing of it is you got to do it the proper way. And it would help if she had power of attorney. Now, her power of attorney could file a complaint, maybe. I don't know. This, again, goes to Wisconsin law as to who and how to file a criminal complaint. Oh, I can imagine they've already said that. I mean, you got to remember, this is a small town, sparsely I think there's only 50,000 people in the entire county. I mean, it's a small rural county. And there's like 2 cities. I think the county seat's bigger than Plum City. Plum City's got roughly 500 people in it. So everybody knows everybody. So they probably have had to put up with Field for a very long time, and they know everything about them. And Denise as well. So this is just, when you're talking about small town where, it's just they already have their minds made up about this bunch. So she's just making a fool of herself. The only thing I can think of what's going to happen is, she's still going to quietly leave the country, probably after this conference in March. I think that's, if her visa's long enough for her to stay here for that, that's where she's going to wind up, is down in Texas. Pierce County, Wisconsin, the county seat and the jail is, I think it's about 20 to 30 miles away from the house. It's north central Wisconsin, I think. Oh, the Pierce County's in southern Wisconsin. It's 2 hours east of Minneapolis, St. Paul. Who's dead? I'm losing the thread here as to who you're talking about. A person. McCain with 30. Yeah, he also had, I think he had a big ass revolver too. One of these real long revolvers. Field is a gun nut. He's got a big collection of guns. Antique guns, contemporary guns, the whole 9 yards. Which will be, it's considered chattel. They'll seize all that. Plants. Let's see, just go into the court records just for the hell of it. Court records, Wisconsin court system, access court records. I agree. Okay. Okay. 11/12/2015. Allison Orbani. Okay. January 24, 2017 is the last document. Affidavit of Truth, Northwest Pension Plan for Airline Employees. Affidavit of Truth, blah, blah, blah. Additional text, return / destruction of exhibits, retirement information, ex parte communication. Okay. Court grants judgment of divorce effective tomorrow, March 16, 2016. Laws of remarriage are given to Allison. So March 16, 2016 is the official date of the divorce. Anything beyond March 16, 2016 was additional arguments they were making for community property and support and all that other stuff. And filed by Field McConnell stating he is a living man. So that's getting into that damn sovereign citizen shit. Affidavit of Truth. More of that. And that's basically it. After January 24, 2017, there was no more action filed with the court. So that means that March date listed down here, March 16, 2016, is what you go by when trying to figure out when Field could marry Denise. And at the time of the divorce, there were no minor children. So that... yeah, I figured it was probably a half hour because it's, your local speed limits and all that. So it's not that far. So instead of writing the stupid letter, she could get down there. And then we have... so the last thing we have filed on the 14th is the receipt of additional text, and the 14th, a copy of order, governor's pardon, and criminal complaint mailed to governor's office. And the Field people read that and thought that he had been pardoned. He has not been pardoned. That was a blank form for the governor to sign to pardon him, which the governor is not going to do because they just went through all this. So... yeah, she put it that in the same letter. She said that Kim had filed a false police report against Tim Holmseth. And to me, that's a clear indication that somebody else wrote that letter and she just signed her name to it. Because if I was the wife of somebody in jail, I wouldn't be giving a damn about somebody living in the state of Minnesota. I'd be more concerned about my husband. So there's something fishy about that letter all the way around. Does Field have a carry permit? I had no idea if he does or not. I don't know. I don't know if Wisconsin's an open carry state or not. I don't know how the laws work up there. So normally, carry permits are public record. But again, I have no idea how Wisconsin laws work when it comes to that stuff. So that's. But. Uh, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with that part of it and why she even put that in the complaint because it's irrelevant and immaterial. The only thing that should be matter to Wisconsin police is anything that has to do with her husband. Because she would have to prove that whatever happened to Florida was a false complaint. And so I don't know what the deal is with that one. But it's just if she were to go into the Pierce County Sheriff's Department and do it properly, they will tell her what she can and cannot file. And what she's doing is, number one, she's setting herself up for a lawsuit because Kim could go after her for that. For any number of reasons. So, she's not, somebody has given her seriously bad advice. If I were that woman, I'd be more worried about what's going to happen to the house than her husband right now. And making arrangements to get him a lawyer instead of fooling around with these dumb letters. Because that's not going to get him out of the Pierce County Jail. That's a separate thing altogether. By the time, if the county were to pursue that, by the time all of a said and done, Field's going to be in Florida. And so, she's wasting her time. She must think they're going to have a Polaroid moment and saying, oh my God, Kim is this bad person, we're going to let Field out right now. Ain't going to happen. They're going to say, all right, we got to investigate this, which means we got to fly someone down to Florida to have an interview and do all the stuff that cops do to see if they even have a case. They probably aren't even going to bother. They're going to say, look, lady, go drink a wine, enjoy the view from your sunroom while you still have a house to live in, and just forget about it. If you want to go down to sunny Florida and see your husband when he gets there, then by all means, Southwest Airlines has a seniors rate. Since he's a retired pilot, you might be able to get a discount. Fly down to Florida and see him when he gets there. Schambach was a former client of Kim. I can't remember a lot about what's going on, but yeah, they did have some kind of a relationship briefly. But there was a dispute of some kind. And I don't think there was a criminal complaint filed by anybody. I think what she did is she sued him for legal fees that were owed to her. And he argued that because they were having a personal relationship that she shouldn't have been charged anything or something like that. It was just typical weird stuff that happens between two people. There's no legal basis for it. But she wants to put that garbage out there. It's not going to do her any good. It didn't get Field anywhere because he put stuff like that out there, and the judge said this ain't relevant. What's relevant is what you did. You're going to have to go to Florida and talk to them about it. She wants to fly down to the state of Florida and do something down there, then have at it. She ain't going to do anything in Wisconsin. Yeah, the highway phones seem to have a bad reputation. Sharpest attack, I think, I'm not sure if there was an affair or not. I think that Kim was divorced at the time. They did have a relationship. Kim did get involved in being his attorney for some reason. I can't be absolutely sure, so I don't want to say anything and be wrong about it. And that she sued him because he owed her money for legal fees or something, is from what I understand. So, but Tim has a habit. He'll take something that has a kernel of truth and he embellishes it and adds all kinds of lies to it. He's done it with everything. And Kim Pacasio was a target of his from day one. And the reason that he targeted Kim Pacasio is because he rejected her. He approached her saying he was this big shot reporter and he had all this information. Kim told him to get lost, and he retaliated. And this is what he does. If you rebuff Tim Holmseth, he comes after you. He doesn't like being rejected. And he could go out and write detective novels with the fiction he comes up with. He's the king of fake news. He was fake news before they ever invented the term. He lies and lies and lies and lies and lies. It's amazing. And people believe him. They believe that this guy is third in line to the President of the United States. It's amazing. I don't know what people do for brains. To believe in somebody like Timothy Holmseth. It's absolutely amazing. And it's astonishing. To go over and read some of the stuff that these people write when it comes to Tim Holmseth and calling him a big hero and everything. I said, Lord, have mercy on me. I mean, I could say I was a United States Marshal and retired and all that and probably have all kinds of followers because people, hey, Skippy. It's just, people are amazing. Why is it not? Oh. I just got a mail. Somebody just sent me a letter, and I totally agree with your letter. I think that what's going to happen with Field McConnell as time goes on is that they're all going to migrate over to a new leader. I personally think it's going to be this Watchman guy, this Michael Kerr, or whatever the hell his name is. Because he has organizational skills, he has the structure, and he can pull people. He can pull people away from Field McConnell, and he can do it quickly. There's nothing here. Nope, I didn't think there'd be anything there. Let's see. See if we got anything new in the. Nope, nothing new. People have not woken up yet. No, Field McConnell was not released. He's going to be extradited. These people don't understand. I'm reading a comment here that says pardon was recorded on the 14th. So who knows where he is? He's in the Pierce County Jail. That was a blank form that Field sent to the governor's office hoping he would be granted a pardon. He's not going to be granted a pardon. God, these people are stupid. Amazing. They'll cling to any branch to keep from falling out of the tree. Nothing's new here either. I'm skipping around to these various. But they're Kerr owes her. Yeah, he's a. They were talking about that the other night, that He's another deadbeat dad that owes money for child support. These people don't pay child support. They can't stand the idea of paying child support. Hey, Skippy he goes in and gets his water about this time of night, and he's going back in the living room. I had to let him out here for a little bit about an hour ago. Yeah, I let him out every once in a while. He's an old guy. Yeah. Yeah, it's just desperation. They're going to hold on to anything. And, ain't going to work. Field McConnell is coming to Florida. End of story. Be probably by the 1st of March. I thought he'd be down there as of today, but I was a little short. He got to stay a little bit longer in the penthouse. But one of these days, they're going to go knock, knock, knock. Okay, Field, time to go. Pack up whatever you got. You're going bye-bye. And off he goes. To the Sunshine State. To the yacht capital of Southeast Florida. There are more yachts in greater Broward County than there are in the entire state of Florida. They got some big ones down there. Jesus. Alright, why is this? Oh, alright, we got it. Oh, there we go. This thing's acting up again. Oh, there we go. You sorry little. Okay. Playing around with the computer again. Well, I seem to draw all kinds of people in here. QAnon is another thing I'm not really interested in. Tim Holmes claims to be affiliated with QAnon, but it's like I said, you guys can argue your politics all you want. I'm just gonna kind of sit on the sidelines. Yeah, this. Oh, I don't have to order it. Why is she? It's funny. I'm going to the blog where all this stuff came about, and she doesn't even have to send for the warrant. It's right here. I mean, this blogger would save her $3. All she's got to do is go to the blog. Jesus Christ. Well, thank you. You just saved me some money. And this guy just docked Sarah Westall. That was nice of him. Boy, I swear. I bet you it was this. I'm sorry, folks. I'm reading where. Well, that's the one thing about uh, these blogs is that they're biased. He's accusing somebody of perjury without even any charges being filed. That's not a true journalism. That's yellow journalism. Amazing. But he saved me he saved me about $5 because I got that document. Who the hell is this moron? I'm being trolled on Twitter. That's typical. Yeah, that's funny. I'm small potatoes in this internet field here, and people just coming after me. It's amazing. I sure got awful important all of a sudden. I've got this quote-unquote journalist attacking me and getting mad because I won't put him on the phone, and he says if I name him, he'll call the police and charge me with incitement. That guy's a big... I call him a pussy, but pussy's got more balls than that guy's got. Sorry, ladies. And then I got whoever this GQ character is over on Twitter. Yeah, I guess people just... Yes, Agent 19 did do a video on Kerr. Exposed him big time, and so does the guy over at the... I'm going to bring up that... Let me go over to YouTube and see if I can find that. Oh, I've got... Okay, let me go over to my subscriptions and see if... Because what I want to do is the guy that... It's Discuss, I think is the name of the guy. Divine Interloper did a video about 3 hours ago, so you folks might want to check that out. Divine did another one with Kirk and Kim 4 hours ago, so it looks like Divine has been busy. Let me do it this way. Okay, I believe this is the one. Nope. Dang, now I gotta figure out who that guy is. My memory sucks. See, Glow was in there, I think, the other night. She know who this guy is. But I listened to him. I think it was last night I listened to the guy, and he went through all of this. And he had Kerr on. He talked about Kerr at length. Because he's one of these guys that does a marathon chat. And for whatever reason, I can't bring up all my subscriptions the way I want to. Oh, Monograph is on. So anybody that is interested, Monty's running right now. Hi, Misty. Let me go over and see what Monty's doing.
It's about making money, man.
Yep, you're right, Monty. Okay, see. Is there anyone? All right, well, let's listen to Monty for a minute.
You just arrived. Seeing global agendas video? How the Chinese convid translates to copy in English? No. Didn't see that.
Wow.
Nope. Yeah, it's by design.
Man, he's got 318 people over there. Damn, he's the big man in town. 318 people on that channel. Son of a gun. He's got the power, I'll say that for money. He draws them in. Come on there. What the heck happened here? Alright. Alright, we got that back. Okay. Well, they're all freaky. I mean, Carr's freaky, and Field's freaky. They're all freaky. And Jason Goodman just came on here. Sure, wait a minute. This thing is starting up all of a sudden. All my had a comment come in. Is Google complicit in Las Vegas shooting cover-up? Not interested in that. Okay, Divine Interloper just came up. Okay, I think one of these days I'm going to learn how to shut that thing off. It comes in right in the middle of my broadcast. Sharpest attack, it's you're right that it seems to be a lot of people have jumped on this advocates for children gravy train. And they claim to be for children, and all they want is the money and the fame and the attention. And I think Cynthia Absuck is going to pay a big price for it. That woman with the 5 kids, she had a close call. She's lucky. She got out of it. And there are others that are, kind of in a world of hurt right now because of that stuff. So. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Sometimes this I built this computer to be fast, and it's not. See, Wanda, what are you talking about here?
While you're looking for what you're looking for, now was that something, they started working on a case in Texas in a court, a very corrupt system in Ector County, Texas. And we're going to talk about that because you had some success there taking out a whole
that
courthouse.
old guy.
Now, who funded that activity then? Was it privately funded?
That old guy that came up on the screen on that thing, the Divine, I've seen him before. I can't think of who that is. I'm looking at something on Twitter that Wanda put up. Miko Hayes. Okay. Now this isn't the old guy. This is something else. Actually, I think it's. I just had that up. I think it's somebody else. But let me go back. So, Alex, let me go back and look that up. Okay, I'm going to have to ask her for a... Alright, let me go back. I'm trying to figure something out. Okay, I got a private message. The person I was talking to last night was Miko Hayes. And for the life of me, I can't remember. I'm going to go back. See what these... Circle dies, we live. Something is coming that will shut your ass up for good. Knock on Field all you want, as it makes you feel better. Field is a good man and will be rewarded for his sacrifice. You will receive your reward too, according to your deeds. Your character is on full display. Oh, really? Well, I'll tell you what, dude, bring it on. And I got a link to The Real Dark Judge, whoever the hell that is. Somebody from London, England. So, they think. I have nothing to hide, whoever these clowns are. Trial. I'm being trolled by whoever this GQ at Go KYU. This is a troll. This guy has an astonishing 181 followers. He's following 320. I guess he just doesn't like people that don't like Field McConnell. Oh well. What the hell? I've had threats over the last 10 or 15 years, so whoever this character is nothing new. Man, these people are all upset that Field McConnell is going to Florida. And they want to blame me for it. I had nothing to do with it. I'm just the messenger. It's funny, when you stop and consider who I am a retired truck driver. I do this basically because I like technology, and these people are all bent out of shape over it. Amazing. I get a kick, it's just, I love trolls. They're so entertaining. Keto is actually good for you. Yeah. Well, I was sidetracked. Let me get back what I was doing here. I thought I subscribed to him. This is something different. Huh. But the show I watched last night had the same background he used here on this. Kind of like a stone wall thing in the latest video I see up here for December 23rd. He must have more than one channel. Because I know I'm already subscribed to his channel, but it's a different one. He's got more than one channel. So that'll...
And when you email me, and I will have the email on this live feed.
There it is. He has a thing called discusslocal.com, and he's got a YouTube channel. And so it's got to be... That's what I need to find. I need to find his YouTube channel. I don't know why it's not showing up in my YouTube list. But let me try it one more time. Sorry if I'm not reading. I don't know if Denise is on any lens. Discuss. Damn, what is the name of his channel? Oh, well. I know.
And when you email me, and I will have the email on this.
Shut up, lady. $46,000 followers. He's probably purchased 45,000 of them. Because the ratio doesn't make any sense. He's got 46,000 people, yet at the most, I think 20 people are active and arguing. If there were 46,000 people subscribed and active on that channel, I mean, we'd be pummeled. Because having 46,000 people mad at you, that'd be something to put up with. So that, you know, I think there's a lot of bots in that. Because it just seems that the way these channels get created when you transfer, you know, it's like Preacher Dan. He started a backup channel. It was like within the minute he started that channel, he had 8,000 followers. So there's something fishy going on. And there's videos up all the time of how you can buy followers. If I wanted to get 1,000 followers right now and I wanted to cheat, all I'd have to do is follow the tips that these people put up on their YouTube videos. And instant 1,000 followers. Now, it's against YouTube's terms of service to do that. They catch you doing it, you're risking shutting your channel down. So I'm not going to do it. If I don't get 1,000 people on this channel, then it's just too damn bad. But I'm not going to go out and buy them. That's cheating, and I don't cheat. So I got to do it the hard way. I got to beg you guys to go out there and find me 1,000 people. So I can do mobile webcasting and do a couple of other things on here that you need 1,000 people to do. So, who pays for the leads, followers? You pay for them. There's a way to do it. It costs, you know, like for $10 you can get 10,000 followers or some nonsense. They used to do that over on Twitter. They used to advertise it. You can buy followers on Twitter. You can buy followers on any social media platform. And it's ridiculous because, you know, you're going to get all these followers, and then you're going to have to figure out who's real and who's not. And it's just a waste. And you lack control. If you get 100,000 followers on your channel, then you're going to have a hell of a time controlling the situation, and it can lead into all kinds of trouble. So I'm satisfied with where I'm at. I'm amazed that I've got this many people that are willing to subscribe to this channel. I didn't expect it. And you know, we're getting up there gradually. I think I'm up to almost 700 people now. Let me check real quick. I'm at 685 subscribers right now, which surprises the hell out of me. I never expected I'd have this many. I have not had 685 people on my channel since I covered the Casey Anthony case. And back then, I had 4,000 subscribers on Ustream. I wasn't using YouTube back then. Daily Hayes has a 10-year multi-platform reporting organization with many contributors. Yeah, he's a big account. Quite surprised. But there's people out there that have a lot of legitimate followers. Monograph is one of them. You go over to his channel right now, he's got over 300 people over there. Field, Monty, he does a good job. He's fun to watch. Check in on him real quick. 362 people are watching him. Amerimass, NORAD, April. What in the world has he got?
Boy, that's how they do it. They set the price.
Bottled water is more than gas. Bottled water is getting expensive. $3.69 in Huntington Beach. Eek. I'll stick to milk. Of course, milk's more expensive out there too, so it doesn't make any difference. There's 359 people watching Monty right now, and I'm one of them. So that's funny. Well, I would appreciate any help I can get. I want to do it the honest way. More people I can get, the better. Because I hit that. If I can get sustained membership over 1,000, then there's a lot I can do with this channel. Because he said, Monty has 50,800 subscribers. Holy crap. That's a lot of people. That's a population of a city. I think my hometown has that population. And the entire county of Pierce is not even at 50,000. That's a lot of damn people. He's getting a consistent 300-400 people a night compared to my 51. So, kudos to Monty. He's doing a hell of a good job. And it's nothing fancy. It's just a guy chatting away, being himself. That's like the good old days when I was on live streaming, and we would just sit here, just do our thing, chat away, nothing fancy. So that's doing a good job. I like old Monty. We may not agree on a lot of things, but he's a good man. He's honest. He does his thing. He respects his people. That's the key. So. All right, I'm gonna come back in here, finish up a little bit. We're on a 5-minute warning. Well, call a bill, that's what I'm hoping. The subscribers should pick up as we get close. Martha, you need to refresh. I'm only going to be on the air for another 3 minutes anyway. But anytime that you have problems with audio or video, you've got to refresh. Because sometimes it gets into packeting and stuff like that. OMA, SOLA. God, I can't even pronounce half of that. Yeah, sometimes, just remember, folks, anytime, if all of a sudden you lose audio, video, just refresh. Because sometimes it's a packaging problem and the signal gets dropped over the internet. Yeah, but for some reason, somebody is just trolling the snot out of me on Twitter. I haven't really been paying attention to it. I think that they're arguing with somebody that's on my follow list. That's the primary thing. Let's see, I got... James Shaneback. That's the guy that Timothy Homeseth had on. Yep. Teslana came on. Hi, Teslana. She's... I am mustard seed. My forest burns so it can provide fertile ground. Water washes over me. So we got a poet in the house. Yeah, I feel... Well, I'll tell you, Field has got some strange defenders. But, yeah, well. Boy, she... checked in a little late, Tess. I'm going to be signing off here in a minute. Because we're getting to the 3-hour mark, and that's, usually when I cut it off at 3 hours, because I'm surprised I can hold the attention of 42 people for 3 hours. And there will be a Saturday Murtathon. Probably not going to be much in the way. We're just going to sit here and go kind of like do a Monty thing where we just shoot the crap for 3 hours or 2 hours or whatever. I'll try not to be too boring. But, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, like and subscribe if you feel the incentive to support me. I do have Patreon and GoFundMe links set up. And I found something out really strange with GoFundMe. You have to take the money out after a period of time. You just can't park it there. They sent me a notice that said the money I've got in there right now, I've got to pull out. So I had intended on just leaving it there like a savings account and not touching it, but they said, no, you got to take it out. So I'm going to have to make arrangements to pull it, and I'm going to put it in a separate account in the bank so that I have it, because I'm not going to touch the funding. That's strictly for my coverage. So anyway, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow night. Until then, this is William K. Murtaugh, Witness 1. Have a good one.